QQ Group, 21702418. Chapter 1 Naruto. In the past, there was a demon fox at work. It has 9 tails. When the fox moves its tail, the mountain collapses and the tsunami rises. The residents couldn't bear the disturbance, so they called ninjas to rule them. A ninja sealed it regardless of his life and death, and the ninja also tried his best to die. Its name is the 4th Hokage. On Wednesday, December 8, 2021, in a student dormitory in Zhongcheng, the hungry Renming turned off the video software and got up to wash. "Go to dinner, sons." Renming tried to call his roommate to get up. "Help me bring it. Help me bring it. Help me bring it. Fuck, hurry up, get up and go together." Renming said that he was too lazy to get used to 3 lazy dogs. Dad. *3. Okay. You win, Renming is used to it, there is nothing he can do with these 3 unscrupulous roommates. He had to go out the door alone. However, the moment he stepped on the dining hall door with his left foot, he lost consciousness. Konoha in April 1948. When Renming regained consciousness for the first time, he felt his body fluttering and faintly heard voices. He tried to open his eyes, but he couldn't. He fell into a deep sleep again soon after. Renming woke up and went back to sleep intermittently. His mind was dizzy, and he could hardly tell whether he was dead or alive. When he fell into a deep sleep, his soul entered a certain space. At this moment, a red-haired woman was staring at a huge fox. Uzumaki Kushina looked at this small body floating in the air, blinked, and asked the big fox, "Nine Tails, is this your child? It turns out that you are a female fox, right?" Joey originally looked at the suddenly appearing child with a bewildered expression, but when she heard this sentence, she immediately exploded. "How can this old man have a child?" Kushina tilted her head. "That's right, you've been sealed for so many years." Before Kuabai could react, she suddenly slammed her palm and put on an expression of "I've seen through everything." "Did you get pregnant before you were sealed? You are so big, the pregnancy must have been a long time, right? Look at the beard marks on his face, it's exactly the same as you." Joey was trembling with anger, and her hands and feet were cold. If it wasn't for the nails from the tail to the paws, it would have to jump down and slap her. How did this woman's brain grow? Joey took a deep breath and shouted, "I won't get pregnant. This kid is all the child of you and the man outside." "Hey? Is that so? I've only been pregnant for more than 3 months, wait a minute." Kushina said, exiting the sealed space, turned her head and asked the blonde man beside her, who looked at her with concern, "Minato, fetus 3, what was it like when you were a month old?" Minato Namikaze was stunned. "The fetus?" According to the records of the Konoha hospital, the 3-month-old fetus is about 9 centimeters in length, the facial features have gradually formed, the limbs can be clearly distinguished, the fingers and toes have developed, and the hair and nails have begun to develop. Growth. Watergate paused and asked, "Why do you ask this all of a sudden?" Since the day he learned that Kushina was pregnant, Minato Namikaze has gone to learn about this knowledge and checked a lot of information on Konoha Hospital. As a genius, after several months of study, just in terms of theory, almost caught up with the obstetrician. Uzumaki Kushina lowered her head, put one hand on her belly, recalled the child she saw in the sealed space, and said softly, "I just saw our child." "Child? What's the matter?" Minato Nakaze asked with concern, "You were stunned just now. I thought it was because the 9 tails had changed. Could it be the fetus?" Uzumaki Kushina told what just happened, and then said, "That should be the child's conscious body. I checked the seal, and although there are signs of a slight weakening, it is still within the expected range. I don't know how the child is. I'm a little worried about entering the sealed space." Minato Namikaze frowned. "It's really strange. I'll ask Mrs. Biwako to check it out for you. You should take good care of the child." "Yeah." Uzumaki Kushina replied softly, and after Minato Neke's shoe disappeared, his consciousness returned to the consciousness space again. This is the child of Minato and I. Uzumaki Kushina carefully stretched out her hands to hold the fetus floating in the air, as if she wanted to touch but did not dare to touch it. Nine Tails stared at her blankly. Is this still the blood-red pepper who escaped from her personality? Is giving birth to a new life enough to change a person? That look, the same as when the old man looked at us. Hey, Nine Tails! Uzumaki Kushina suddenly shouted, and then said word by word, I will definitely suppress you. In the past, it was for Minato, for the village, and in the future, for this child. A mere human. Nine Tails roared, and sure enough, it was just an illusion. How could she be compared with the old man? The old man will definitely kill you. Kushina didn't want to pay attention to it, and looked at the little life in the palm of his hand intently, until Minato Namikaze suddenly appeared in front of him with the 3 generations of Hokage Sarutobi Hyozan and his wife Sarutobi Biwako. How is it, Kushina, are you okay? Minato first asked with concern. It's fine. Kushina shook her head, then looked at the 3-generation couple beside Minato. I'm sorry to disturb you too late at night, please, Mrs. Biwako. Kushina told the whole story again, and Sarutobi Biwako also completed the examination at this time. The fetus is very healthy and nothing abnormal was found. Sarutobi Hyozan, who was beside him, took out his pipe and was about to put it in his mouth, but was snatched by Biwako beside him. The 3rd generation awkwardly rubbed his beard and said, the previous 9-tailed Manchuri, that is, Mito-sama, did not have a similar situation when she was pregnant. In other words, there is no precedent for reference. Lake Biwa, Minato, please pay more attention to Kushina's body in the next time, this matter can't be careless. Sarutobi Biwako nodded in agreement, that's the only way. Then we won't bother you anymore. Sarutobi Hyozan, who was sure he couldn't provide more help, bid farewell. At this time, Sarutobi Hyozan was in the state of associate. Since Minato just became the 4th Hokage, he thought that Minato was too young. Reading www.yuugonshu.com is difficult to convince the 2 elders, Koharu and Mito Minion. Of course, the most difficult thing to deal with was his old friend Danzo, so he stayed temporarily to assist Minato, and wanted to slowly help Minato to establish his prestige and gradually hand over power. Now that Renzhuli is about to give birth, Hiruzen Sarutobi has no choice but to help Minato to share some of the pressure. Maybe many people think that he is greedy for power, but at this time, he is nearly 60 years old, and he knows that his strength, courage and energy have all declined seriously. He just wanted to continue to the new generation of Konoha while he still had some strength. After seeing off the 3-generation couple, Minato came back and hugged Kushina gently, comforting, don't worry, I will protect you and the child. Minato smiled softly, also, you must be the luckiest mother in the world to see the baby in advance. Tell me more about the baby. Kushina couldn't help but recall what Granny Mito once said to her, it is our destiny to be a container for tailed beasts, but before we become a container, we must first fill it with love. I have met that person long ago, a person as warm as the sun. Looking at Minato's smiling face, Kushina happily described the appearance of the fetal consciousness, although I can't tell the gender yet, I think he is a boy. He will definitely become an amazing person in the future. Well, how about naming him Naruto? Naruto. Yeah, that's the name of the protagonist in teacher Jiraiya's novel The Legend of Perseverance and Endurance. I hope Naruto can be like the protagonist of the story, with a strong will and a never-zadie spirit. Well, that's a good name. Naruto, Naruto. Chapter 2 Kushina's parent-child prenatal education class. As time passed, Kushina's stomach was bulging day by day. During this time, Renming had a general understanding of his own situation. According to the words in the novel, he had traveled to the world of Naruto and became Naruto before he was born. Or, is this a direct reincarnation? Renming accepted this matter calmly. Anyway, he was born in the Zhongcheng branch of the Kiwan orphanage. Since he was reincarnated, he would be Naruto in the future. I just don't know how the few good friends who cultivated with immortals in the past life are like, and will they occasionally think of him. Speaking of which, it was not too late to promise to bring meals, so the sons could not feel the love of their father. Although his body can't speak or move, Naruto's brain is quite active. During this period of time, the question he pondered the most was that Uchiha Obito was going to make trouble when he was born, and he wanted his parents to sacrifice to heaven. Due to the human pillar force during childbirth, the sealing power of the tailed beast in the body will be minimized. Obito wanted to take the opportunity to release 9 tails to attack Konoha village. The purpose is probably to vent anger or hatred. Anyway, in the past life, I didn't understand until I watched the finale. What is the meaning of Obito releasing the 9 tails at this time? Naruto knew that in this disaster, countless Konoha ninjas would die, including Naruto's parents Minato Namikawa and Kushina Uzumaki. However, at this time, he can't do anything. After all, he is just a fetus now, so he can't come to really beat his mother's womb to start cultivation. And what Naruto can do now is to passively absorb the nutrients transmitted by his mother, and listen to Kushina's words. That's right, since the first time he saw Naruto in the consciousness space, Kushina has come to see Naruto's consciousness every day, and then speak to Naruto. Probably just say something, Naruto grows up quickly, both parents want to see you sooner. Your father is a super powerful ninja, the 4th Hokage. Mom is also very powerful. Seeing that there is no big fierce fox over there, my mother can easily settle it. There is background music, the roar of a big fox in protest. Naruto, it's been so hard for your mother to conceive you, you must be obedient in the future. Naruto, Dad has something for me to pass on to you. I don't care if you understand it or not, I want to tell you anyway. What is outrageous is that Naruto basically understands it, obviously it is a completely different language. After a few months, Naruto understands a lot of things. For example, his home is at Building 101, Dumpyu Street, Konoha Village. For example, mother's good friend Uchiha Mikoto is about to give birth to a child. Another example is that my father's disciple is a masked white-haired dead fisheye. By the way, there are some scattered common sense in the ninja world. Alas, my dear mother, this baby will be forced to study hard before she is born. Did you find out that I was a scholar in my previous life? Naruto almost thought that the days before he was born would probably be spent in the Kushina's parent-child prenatal education class. Until one day in a few months. Who are you, handsome guy? As soon as Naruto opened his eyes, he saw a handsome man standing in front of him. Blonde hair, half circle of orange eyeshadow on his eyes, and a sunny smile on his face. It is Konoha's 4th Hokage, Naruto's father, Golden Glitter, Minato Namikaze. And it's Nami Feng Minato who opened the fairy mode. Who I am? Where am I? What am I doing? Did I fast forward to the Ninja World War after I slept? Naruto thought in confusion. Before Naruto could react, Namikaze Minato spoke first. Hello Naruto, it's the first time we met, I'm Minato Namikaze, it's your father, this. After saying this, Minato scratched the back of his head a little embarrassedly. I am also a father for the first time, and I have no experience. Although I have asked Fuyui Senpai and Nisashi Senpai for advice on how to get along with my son and what to say when I see my son for the first time, I always feel that their style is not the same. It suits me too well, ha ha ha. In short, I will try my best to be a good father, please take care of me in the future. After speaking, he stretched out his right hand, as if he wanted to shake hands with Naruto. Pfft, ha ha ha. Kushina on the side had already laughed out loud. Looking at the somewhat clumsy Minato, she recalled that Minato was practicing the opening remarks of the first meeting with Naruto at home a few days ago. Well, Minato called it surprise, the family battle of the first meeting between father and son. A. Left hand on hip, right hand pinches chin, Naruto, first meeting, I'm your father. B. Claps his arms over his chest, ha ha ha, as expected of my son. Looks so outstanding. C. The left hand is claw-like on the forehead to block the right eye, and the right hand supports the left elbow. I am the fourth generation Hokage, the golden glitter of Konoha, your father, enter Minato Minato. D. With hands on hips, with a smirk, since you asked the question sincerely, I will. Ming Ming practiced dozens of plans, but in the end it was a mess. Minato, Naruto is still young, where would I shake hands with you? Haha, that's true. Minato also realized that something was wrong. Naruto had already reacted at this time, it should be that Minato entered the sealed space in some way, the purpose is to meet him in advance. Such a father seems to be quite good. Naruto tried to raise his small claw and lightly placed it on Minato's hand that was about to withdraw. Ugh! Minato was so excited that tears almost came out. Did Naruto approve of me? Yet. Kushina was also very happy, but then her cheeks puffed up again. Really, mommy has been talking to you for so long and you don't care, and when dad comes you will say hello. It's not fair, it's not fair, it's not fair. Fair. Saying something unfair then poked Naruto in the face. Wow ah ah. Naruto waved his hands in vain, trying to stop this unscrupulous mother while uttering syllables of unknown meaning. Ha ha ha. Minato smiled and hugged the playful mother and son. A family of three enjoying themselves, if you ignore a big fox that acts as a background board. Humph, stupid human. I'm a little envious, if the old man is still there, the fourth generation, eh? Wrong. 4 generations? Sister Yongdae. How did you get in? Ninetales found a blind spot. Me? In order to meet Naruto earlier, I developed a trick Zion Fa, Father and Mother Chakra Resonance Concerto Hai. Although Kyuubi already knew that Minato was this virtue, he still couldn't get used to it. What is this guy thinking about? In simple terms, it is to enhance perception through immortality, and then adjust your chakra to a certain frequency according to Kushina's chakra fluctuations, and then control the mental energy, and then you can come in through the seal. For this reason, I have been practicing immortality well for a few months. And this kind of operation? Ninetales, who were nailed to all fours, showed great insight. Naruto in Kushina's arms said the same upstairs. My dad is amazing. After practicing for a few months, he could find this method in combination with immortality. It feels a bit like the principle that Naruto distributed chakra to the ninja coalition during the Fourth World War. Speaking of which, after you have seriously practiced immortality, will your unfilial disciple come back to do things in a few months? Will you be slapped to death by you? Naruto's sense of security suddenly surged up. Hold on, we can win. At this moment, Naruto's eyes when he looked at Minato were about to light up, and if he looked carefully, it seemed that there were 4 big characters written, Big Boss, please take me. From this day on, Naruto is full of hope for the future life. Also from this day on, Naruto's daily Kushina's parent-child prenatal education class was changed to the Minato and Kushina's parent-child prenatal education class. Hope or something, it's all an illusion. Naruto collapsed a little, and couldn't help thinking of a certain deaf pupil. My dad taught me in Hawaii, when I arrived at Naruto, my father taught me during prenatal education, he. Happy times are always short, maybe. A few months passed quietly in a happy family of 3, and as Kushina's belly swelled day by day, Konoha, October 10, 1948, finally came. Chapter 3 The Ninetales Rebellion. It was an ordinary night, the moon was sparse, and the Konoha villagers were wandering the streets in 2s and 3s, some had fallen asleep, and some were training in green tights. Ahem, for most people no different from usual. In a secret cave outside the village, several Anbu nervously stood guard at the door. Inside the cave, Sarutobi Biwako and her assistant, Nino Yashida Road, stood beside Kushina's bed, nervously instructing and encouraging Kushina, while Minato was always paying attention to the nine-tailed seal on Kushina's body. As Kushina's screams stopped, a baby boy was born smoothly. Why doesn't this child cry? Naruto opened his eyes and found that he was being held in the arms of an old woman. Before he could react, he felt the world spinning, as if someone was holding his foot, and then there was a sharp pain in his butt. Wow! Naruto cried out spinelessly. The adults laughed one by one. From today, I'll be a father. Minato already cried with joy. He's a very energetic boy. Biwako smiled and hugged Naruto towards Kushina. Naruto! Minato shouted and stretched out his hand. But Lake Biwa avoided, don't touch it, he has to see his mother first, right? Hey! Minato moved his hands away embarrassedly. Naruto! Kushina tilted her head to look at Naruto. Although you can see it every day in the sealed space, this is the real meeting. Naruto has also stopped crying, opened his eyes wide, and looked at his mother. In this life, Obito is about to come, we have to find a way to remind them. Naruto opened his mouth, wow! I can't speak at all, and the words all turn into crying, and I want to finish it. Okay, you can breathe a sigh of relief. Oh Naruto, be good, be good. Biwako said, hugging Naruto and taking Tianlu to the side. She knew that the next 4 generations had to strengthen the seal, so she should not get in the way. His good. Minato next to him had already entered the immortal mode, and he came over and held Kushina's hand. Kushina, although you have just given birth to Naruto, you are working very hard, but you can't rest yet. Next, you need to strengthen the seal of the 9 tails. Before he could finish speaking, Minato suddenly disappeared in place, blocking a kunai that stabbed Sarabi Biwako from behind. Who are you? Minato tightly clasped the wrist of the mysterious man in the black robe with the orange spiral mask in front of him. If the immortals were not sensitive enough, the consequences would be unimaginable. What a quick blinking technique, it deserves to be a golden flash. The mysterious man, Uchiha Obito's tone was 3-point admiration, 3-point calm, 3-point hatred, and 1-point regret. It's impossible, Obito did not express the same fans' hate emotion. After all, his play is relatively narrow, either serious or funny. Sarutobi Biwako took the opportunity to hug Naruto and hide behind Minato, while Tianlu kicked back with a sharp kick, but the kick was empty. No, only a kunai tied with a few detonating charms was left in place. Can't let the detonator explode here. Minato vanished instantly with the detonating talisman and appeared in a log cabin outside the village. Then, with the sound of the explosion, the log cabin collapsed, and Minato also instantly jumped outside the house. How is the situation? When Minato returned to the cave, Kushina had disappeared. Sarutobi Biwako was standing beside the bed holding Naruto, and Tianlu was slowly standing up while clutching his stomach. 4th generation, Kushina was taken away by the mysterious man. We are not opponents. He seems to know that you will come back immediately, so he did not entangle with us. Sarabi Biwako briefly introduced the situation. Understood, he is here for Kushina, and he chose today, so the purpose is the 9 tails, and the information is leaked. Next, we have to plan for the worst. Minato had a serious expression, and Kushina was a man. Once the tail beast is lost, it will die. And once the 9 tails get out of control, Konoha will suffer huge damage. Minato put his hands on Sarabi Biwako Wadaji's shoulders, and activated the Flying Thunder God technique, and the 4 of them appeared directly in Hokage's office. At this time, Sarutobi Hizen was replacing Minato to handle official duties, and he was a little puzzled when he saw the 4 of them. Minato said directly, "The time is urgent, please explain the specific situation to Mrs. Biwako and Mr. Sande, and Tianlu will bring Naruto with me." Learn. Tianji took Naruto from Sarabi Lake Biwa's arms, while Minato disappeared with the two of them. What the is going on? Sarutobi Hizen asked, could it be that Kushina had an accident? Sarutobi Biwako recounted what had happened, and the third generation's expression gradually became solemn, and waved and called the four Anbu, order, Konoha enters the wartime state, inform all the Shangnin to stand by at any time, and immediately organize the civilians below the Chunin to enter the shelter. Go away. Yes. Asterisk 4. The four immediately split up and sounded the alarm to convey the order. After the alarm sounded, the entire Konoha was operating at a high speed, and the ninjas rushed to their posts. At this time, the Uchiha security force, who was in charge of the security and defense of the village, received the order, protect non-combatants to evacuate. After receiving the order, Uchiha Fuyu immediately started arranging tasks, suppressing the opinions of the clansmen who asked for battle, mobilizing all the fighting forces to execute the order, and even Uchiha Mikoto, who was coaxing the child, handed the infant Suzuki to the 5-year-old Uki Weasel, and then left in a hurry. On the other side, Minato took Tien Lu back home, put Naruto on the bed, hugged him gently, and said, Dad is going to pick up Mom and come home right away. Minato turned around and said to Tien Lu, I have activated the defensive barrier, and Naruto will ask you to take care of him for the time being. Yes. Tien Lu knew that his strength would not be of much help, so he could only take care of the children so that the 4 generations of adults would have no worries. Minato sensed the mark of the God of Thunder on Kushina's body, and appeared directly beside Kushina, who was tired and fell to the ground. Kushina. Watergate. Before I could say more, Obito had already controlled the 9-tailed giant claw and swung it down, and Minato immediately hugged Kushina and left the place, appearing on a tree a little further away. Oh? The technique of flying thunder gods? Too late, golden flashes. However, the couple ignored the mysterious man who was speaking sarcastically. At this time, the sadness and anger in Minato's heart could no longer be suppressed, and the 9 tails had already been drawn out, which means that Kushina's time is running out. Ming, is Naruto all right? It's okay, Naruto is in a safe place now. Then, that's fine. Don't think too much, I'll take you to Naruto now. Minato glanced back a little at the mysterious person in the distance, and directly used the Flying Thunder God technique to bring Kushina back home, and gently placed her beside Naruto. Naruto. Juxina's eyes filled with tears, she lay on her side and hugged Naruto gently, gently rubbing Naruto's small face and body with her cheeks. It won't be long before they leave their father and son behind. Kushina's heart is full of reluctance now, and she also cherishes this last time to hug Naruto. Naruto can only be in a hurry now, after all, he can't do anything but cry now, is there no golden finger when I cross over? On the other hand, Minato watched this scene, Yu reading www.yuyuganshu.com tightly clenched his fists, his eyes became sharp. Tien Lu, please take care of you here, I'll take care of things outside. Yes. Tien Lu, who retreated to the door of the room, didn't talk much, and didn't bother the family of 3. Minato walked out of the bedroom, put on the ninja bag, put on the Hokage Yushin robe, fastened the Konoha ninja forehead guard, and took a special flying thunder kunao, and waved the robe with a hunting sound. He will fight to protect the village as Konoha's Hokage. Tien Lu looked at the 5 characters 4th Hokage on Minato's back, and at the firm back, she felt from the bottom of her heart that this man would never lose. A few seconds later, the orange eyeshadow unique to the fairy mode appeared on Minato's eyes again, and he said in a deep voice, I'll be right back. The 4th generation will come soon. Hold on. Drive Kuabai out of the village. At this time, the Konoha village was brightly lit, and the civilians retreated to the shelter in an orderly manner under the arrangement of the ninjas, including Kakashi, Mate Kai, Uihong, and other younger ninjas, and the older ninjas gave the reason is, it's not time for your generation to die. The battle against the Nine Tails is bound to be very tragic. They must protect the future of Konoha. This is probably the will of fire that Sandemu often talks about. Nine Tails, controlled by Obito's riding wheel eye, moved forward step by step towards the center of Konoha, and waved their tails to wreak havoc. The Shang ninjas released various ninjutsus such as fire escape, wind escape, etc. against the Nine Tails in batches, trying their best to slow down the speed of the Nine Tails. Nine Tails roared, raised his head and opened his mouth. The terrifying chakra gathered into a dark purple sphere, and then sprayed it fiercely in the direction of Hokage Rock. Chapter 4 King Kong Blockade. After Minato left, Tianlu retreated to the door to guard, and only Kushina was left in the room holding Naruto and sobbing softly, saying one sentence after another, as if she wanted to finish her entire life. Naruto stared at her with wide eyes, trying to say something, but he could only utter the meaningless syllables of wow wow wah. A few minutes later, Naruto heard a loud bang, guessing that his father used the time and space barrier to transfer a tailed beast jade into the mountains. A few minutes later, Minato returned home again, looking slightly tired. He picked up Kushina with one hand and Naruto with the other. Let's go. After speaking, he launched the Flying Thunder God technique again. Naruto only felt that the flower in front of him came to another place, and a big fox not far away was particularly conspicuous. It seems that Brother 2 has been educated. This is probably the place where the Nine Tails were sealed, and it is also the place where the Minato couple died in battle in the original book. At this time, the 3 generations of Hokage Sarutobi hidden are on their way. Minato said, "I'm here to open the barrier. Fortunately, I have practiced immortality well in the past 6 months in order to meet Naruto, otherwise Chakra might not be able to support it. I can hold on for a while." Saying that, Kushina bit her lip, and 5 golden chains stretched out from behind her, crashing around Nine Tails' limbs, torso, and tail tightly. King Kong Blockade. The unique power of the bloodline of the Vortex family can be used for both attack and seal, and it is especially good at suppressing tailed beasts. Usually relying on this trick, Kushina kept the Nine Tails docile. Now the power that erupted at the critical moment is equally powerful, and the Nine Tails can hardly move after the attack. After that, Naruto saw that the couple started quarreling. That's right, it's a quarrel. Kushina thought that she should drag the Nine Tails to death together, so that the Nine Tails would be resurrected after a few years, and Konoha had enough time to prepare, and then capture the Nine Tails again. And Minato thinks that losing the nine-tailed Konoha will be very dangerous. The balance of the tailed beast has been broken, and other shinobi villages may take the opportunity to attack Konoha. So let Naruto become the new human pillar force. But Kushina understands that becoming a human pillar force itself is life-threatening in the process of sealing. Even if it succeeds, it means being isolated, feared, and treated with indifference. She has felt this way herself, so she can't bear to let her son experience this again. That is our own son. Minato insisted on his own opinion. He believed that Naruto might be the son of destiny that Mr. Jiraiya said. If he can change the world of ninja, Naruto will definitely survive and become a great ninja. As a parent, you should trust your son. As the person involved, Naruto, of course, feels that he can survive well. As for being isolated or something, Konoha 12 Xiaoqiang and other ninjas with some knowledge don't care about these things at all. As for the commoners and dragons, let them come on. I'm not an RMB, how can everyone like it? Those are all for later. The most important thing now is not to let Dad use the ghouls to seal them off. That thing will kill people, and if the nine tails are directly sealed back now, then Mom has a high probability of surviving. Naruto was thinking anxiously here, but Minato had already started to act. He finally persuaded Kushina, I will combine your remaining chakras in a gossip seal and seal it in Naruto's body, so that when Naruto grows up, I can see him again. And I can do this. The only thing is that the ghouls are sealed. But if you use that trick, you will. Ah, I know, I'm going to die too, but as a husband and father. Minato put down Naruto and started to seal. Wow! Naruto reached out his hand anxiously at this time, desperately trying to stop him. This is the last chance. At the critical moment, a thin golden chain stretched out from Naruto's back and tied Minato's hands that were tying the seal. Naruto! Asterisk 2. Minato and Kushina exclaimed at the same time. After a short period of shock, Kushina laughed softly and said, Minato, Naruto is reluctant to part with you, so let me come. Naruto himself was stunned. King Kong blockade. Is this a plug-in account? In this case. Naruto's thoughts moved, and four thin golden chains came out from behind and shot directly at Jiwei. One of them trapped the two front claws of Jiwei, and the other trapped the two hind claws together. One tied the mouth tightly, and the last tried to tie the nine tails together. Kushina couldn't be surprised, and hurriedly used her chains to cooperate with Naruto, so with the cooperation of the mother and son, the nine tails fell to the ground with a bang like a pig waiting to be slaughtered, trapped with a sturdy mouth. Still trying to let out a low growl. It seems that Naruto has inherited your talent perfectly, Kushina. Minato said softly, in this case, I have an idea that may allow you to survive. Seeing that Minato had changed his mind, Naruto quickly loosened the chains that bound his father's hands. Thank you, Naruto. Minato closed his eyes, and when he opened it again, he was already in immortal mode, and checked Kushina's situation. As expected, Kushina, there are fewer and fewer nine-tailed chakras left in your body. And your body is getting weaker and weaker. If you guess correctly, when these chakras are used up, you will die. Then what if we in turn replenish the nine tails chakra for you, or even seal the nine tails directly into your body? Pretty. Naruto couldn't help but want to double-click 666 for Dad, as expected of you. But in my current state, it's not enough to suppress the nine tails. Even if the seal comes back, it may end up with the nine tails. Of course the full nine tails won't work, so what if it's half? Half. That's right, I will use the strongest ninjutsu I've mastered to attack the nine tails. You and Naruto will take the opportunity to seal half of the nine tails each. I see, Naruto understands, you have to cooperate with Mother well. Kushina smiled softly, she would bet everything on her next actions, she trusted her husband, and she also trusted with his own children. Naruto said ah to indicate that he understood, and sent the chain that originally bound Minato's hands into the battlefield. Minato opened his right hand and raised it to the top of his head, and said firmly, I have developed this trick for a long time, and I have never really used it, and I haven't even thought of a name. It was not until the recent progress in the practice of immortality that it was real. If you can use it with confidence, this first use will definitely be a success. At this time, the 3 generations of Hokage Sarutobi hidden are still on their way. I saw a huge spiral pill slowly appearing in the palm of Minato's palm, and then 4 wind blades formed around the spiral pill, constantly spinning and making a harsh sound. Naruto was stunned. I'm familiar with this trick. Isn't this Xian Fa Feng Dun Super Jade Spiral Shuriken? Amazing, my dad, it's only been half a year for you to strengthen your cultivation of immortal arts, you have developed this trick? Don't let your son get mixed up. No matter what Naruto was thinking, Minato already threw out this move, and the power under the bonus of immortal jutsu was enough for him to smash this huge ninjutsu into the face of Kyuubi. The fact is as he expected, Yu reading www.yuuganshu. The super large jade spiral shuriken, which was almost bigger than the head of the nine tails, exploded on the door of the nine tails, turning into countless fine chakra needles of the wind attribute and constantly cutting the body of the nine tails. Take advantage of it now. Kushina and Naruto exerted their strength together, using the diamond blockade to pull the body of the nine tails like a tug-of-war. The man's chain was torn in half, one half went into Kushina's abdomen, which was temporarily suppressed by Kushina with the original broken seal, and the other half went into Naruto's abdomen. Naruto felt his stomach sink, and he was almost out of breath. Then he was picked up by Minato and placed on the altar that had been prepared to assist in the display of the 8 trigram seal. I saw Minato quickly formed a few seals, then put both hands on Naruto's abdomen and shouted, "Gossip seal!" A spiral sealing technique appeared around the navel, and Naruto instantly felt a lot more relaxed, and then fell into a deep sleep. This time, there should be no need to be an orphan. Naruto fell asleep beautifully, and Kushina hugged Naruto and cried with joy, "It's great, I can watch Naruto grow up slowly, it's great, I can continue to be by your side, it's great. Really, that's great." The exhausted Minato hugged his wife and children gently and breathed a sigh of relief, "I think I can finally be regarded as a qualified father and a qualified husband. Okay, I'll help you repair the seal next, and then, let's go home." "Well, let's go home." At this time, the 3 generations of Hokage Sarutobi hidden are still on their way. Chapter 5. After the disaster, Sandai finally arrived at the scene and personally escorted the Minato family back. Minato was already exhausted, and Fei Lei Shen couldn't use it anymore, so he had to walk back with Kushina. Seeing that Minato completed the seal, Sarutobi Hizen was completely relieved, and told Minato to rest in peace and leave, to arrange the aftermath, and to investigate the mysterious masked man. According to Minato, the mysterious man was smashed half of his body by the Xianzhu spiral pill, but there was nothing left at the scene except for a big pit, including blood. It seems that he used that space ninjutsu to escape, or, he was taken away by his accomplices, and he even cleaned up the traces of the battle. Sarutobi Hizen pinched the mustache on his chin, thinking that an enemy could easily break through the Konoha barrier. His face became heavy. Anbu continues to search and alert the surrounding area. If there is no change, the residents will be notified tomorrow morning to end the evacuation. In addition, the damage will be counted as soon as possible. Yes. The night finally passed, the birds fell on the treetops and combed their feathers, the autumn sunlight shone through the window on the sleeping family, and the baby who woke up first burst into tears, awakening the couple. It's not that Naruto is ignorant and insists on waking up his parents, but Naruto, wetting the bed. As a baby, Naruto couldn't remember how many in this regard, no matter how embarrassed he was, he had to do it. However, Minato and his wife were really in a hurry before they realized what was going on. The couple smiled and helped Naruto take a bath and change diapers, and then fed him again. Naruto stared at his parents with wide eyes, and found that Minato's face was still a little tired. After all, there was a war and he only slept for a few hours at night. But Kushina has already got out of bed alive and well to prepare breakfast and do housework. Should it be said that he is a member of the Whirlpool family? I just went through a few hours of childbirth yesterday, and I was immediately pulled away from the tailed beast. Later, I struggled to speak, and it was revealed that King Kong blocked the 9-tailed lock like a dog, and then sealed it back to half of the 9-tailed animal. In an hour, it was alive and kicking again, simply. Naruto thought about it, my parents have finally survived. I don't know if Brother 2 was beaten to death by my father, and I also awakened the signature ability of the Vortex clan, the King Kong blockade. Hey, is my hair now yellow or red? And without the trouble of the 3 generations, should I be called Naruto Naruto or Naruto Uzumaki? Thinking of these messy things, Naruto slowly fell asleep. Babies are like this, they slept a lot, and Naruto consumed a lot of money yesterday. The King Kong blockade should not be used by children. In the original book, Xianglin used a chain when he was 15 or 16 years old. At that time, Xianglin's Chakra Shao said that there were several cards. He almost collapsed after tying Shuya for a while. How much time is consumed? Minato watched Kushina put the sleeping Naruto down on the bed, changed clothes lightly, and said, "Then I'm going out, I'm afraid I'll have a lot of work to do today." Well, I will take good care of Naruto. This time, the 9 tails run away, Konoha lost a lot. The most conspicuous thing is that the street opposite Yunjian was mostly destroyed. However, Due to the timely response compared with the original, 3 generations before Obito psyched out the 9 tails, he received the news and began to evacuate the civilians, and there were few civilian casualties. The casualties of ninjas are also much less. It is worth mentioning that Irika's parents, Kaker and Xiaozhen, were lucky to survive. Only the Anbyo killed when Obito attacked Kushina, and the Jounin who delayed the 9 tails. As Konoha's 4th generation Hokage, Minato does have a lot to do. Looking at the report from the 3 generations of people in the office, Watergate fell into contemplation. The next thing to do is to arrange for civilians to go home and organize people to clean up the ruins and prepare for reconstruction, arrange the compensation for the dead. The memorial service will be set in 3 days, the dead ninja will be engraved on the memorial tablet as heroes, and their vacant positions will also need to be replenished, strengthen the defense of Konoha and the borders of the Land of Fire, in addition to being vigilant against the companions of the masked people, but also to prevent other great powers from taking advantage of the fire, especially a person who does not want to be named the 4th Hokage, and always wants to find an excuse to increase the name of the Land of Wind. 4 generations of military spending. Send Kakashi to continue to protect Kushina and Naruto. Kakashi originally asked Kakashi to protect Kushina during pregnancy because he wanted him to witness the birth of a new life to dispel the darkness in his heart. Now this happens, I don't know if this child will be affected, let him continue the task for the time being. Konoha's perception barrier needs to be improved. This time, the enemy invaded silently, and the 9 tails were channeled in the center of the village. If the enemy made such a move during the war, the consequences would be unimaginable. Nai is in charge of the enchantment class. As for Uchiha, this time the guards have played a big role in defending and evacuating the public. It stands to reason that there is no need to increase surveillance, but the consultants may not agree. After all, when the 9 tails were controlled, 2 riding wheels were so big. Almost everyone thinks it has something to do with Uchiha, and then have a good talk with Big Brother Fuyu. The conflict between the Uchiha family and the village must be resolved. Minato quickly signed documents one by one and issued one command after another, and Konoha worked like a sophisticated machine. Dong, dong, dong. After arranging the important things, the door of the office was knocked. Please come in. Minato raised his head and saw that the door was pushed open. Then Sarutobi Hizen, Shimura Danzo, Shun Koharu, and Mitotaman came in, and all the Konoha 4 pits were gathered. Minato put down the document in his hand and asked, 3 generations? There are 3 elders, who are you? Sandai took the lead and said, we are here to explain to the public about this incident. After all, some things need to be kept secret and are not suitable for disclosure. Many civilians and genin don't even know what Renzhuli is. At this time, the 4 pits didn't know that Naruto was a matter of human Zulai. Because Kushina was still alive, they took it for granted that the 9 tails were sealed and returned to Kushina's body. After all, the tailed beast was divided into 2 halves to seal the fact. It's too unbelievable, and Minato has not decided whether or not to reveal Naruto's identity, so he hasn't told them yet. Minato frowned and thought for a while, then said, I want to publicly apologize to the people for causing such a loss. In the end, it was my dereliction of duty as Hokage that I failed to defeat the enemy immediately. The 3rd generation took a cigarette and exhaled a smoke. No, rather than apologize, I think Konoha needs a hero, and the people now need a hero to inspire people. As Hokage, you should be a hero who sealed the 9 tails. You read www.yuyugonshu.com, and in fact you did seal the 9 tails. Turning to bed, Koharu and Mitotaman nodded in agreement. Only Danzo expressed dissatisfaction, but he was displeased by the words Minato is Hokage by the 3 generations, so he could only snort and leave. As a result, a message circulated among the Konoha villagers that day, last night, the 9-tailed demon fox was in chaos. The 4th Naruto wave Feng Minato decisively ordered the evacuation of the people, and many ninjas desperately tried to buy time, and the 4th Naruto's wife Kushina gave birth to a child that night. Regardless of his physical weakness, he joined hands with the 4 generations of Hokage and the 9 tails to fight, and finally sealed it and saved Konoha village. For a time, the popularity of the 4 generations of couples soared, and they were called hero couples, and their sons also became the sons of heroes. After Naruto heard the news from his parents, he silently complained in his heart, "What are the heroic couples called? Let's just call them the legend of Fox and Heroes." 3 days later, the sky was gloomy and it was raining lightly. People in mourning clothes and white flowers held up umbrellas and went to the memorial monument. Naruto was also carried out by Kushina. Next to an umbrella was an expressionless masked white-haired dead fisheye. Kushina, who was usually full of energy, had an unusually serious expression today. Watergate has already set off ahead of schedule, and today's memorial service is presided over by him. In addition to the relatives of the deceased, representatives of major families will also attend, and there are also people who voluntarily want to mourn the hero. Naruto felt the heavy atmosphere of the scene in Kushina's arms, and listened to the desolate cries of people, and finally had a preliminary understanding of this cruel world. There is never a shortage of battles here, and there are always many deaths here. There will be all kinds of tragedies here, and here, it's not my favorite flower garden anymore. On November 10, 1948, Konoha had been a month since the end of the Nine-Tailed Rebellion. The village gradually regained its calm. When people mentioned the nine-tailed demon fox after a meal, they were no longer full of fear, but there are 4 generations of eyes. Don't be afraid of calm. For a month, Naruto was completely accustomed to the current state. Every day when he woke up, he would eat. When he was full, he would look around with wide eyes, and then listen to his parents talking about various things, or was forced to accept certain things. At the teasing of the unscrupulous mother, the handsome man smiled happily as he watched the mother and son play. Usually, Kushina would also go out to buy vegetables with Naruto. Along the way, he would always get advice from the Konoha villagers. Of course, it was not a bad word. Most of them were admiration and praise. Naruto could always hear it. Words like powerful and hero, gossips behind the scenes are always heard by the parties as passive skills of Konoha residents, and good things are no exception. Kushina doesn't pay much attention to these, since as Guzii walked, he would stop and say hello with a smile when he met an acquaintance. Slowly, Naruto got to know the wives of Nara, Akimichi and other families, including his mother's close friend Uchiha Mikoto, but unfortunately he didn't see Sasuke. On the day of the memorial service, I only glimpsed the child who was suspected of Sasuke, and was held by a boy of 5 or 6 years old, probably Itaki. Naruto originally thought that with Kushina's character, Minato must be the one responsible for cooking at home. Unexpectedly, the carefree and even pungent Kushina was unexpectedly a good wife and mother at home. For breakfast, he will help him tidy up his collar before going out. When Minato came back from get off work, he gently said welcome back, and then brought the food to the table while Minato smiled and touched Naruto's head. The only thing that can be said to be on the top of the sturdy is that one day before dinner, 14-year-old Kakashi was brought in through the window and thrown into the living room, and then ordered him to wash his hands and eat. Naruto watched with relish, and Kakashi's dazed look was quite cute. Of course, Kakashi is not that kind of casual person. Can't you tell me to come in and eat and I'll come in? I don't want to lose face, so I tried to struggle when I was pulled by Kushina the next day, and then, he was beaten by gold. The chains were tied into dumplings. On the 3rd day, Kakashi learned to be smart. Can't you hide if you can't be provoked? I'm okay with Enbu performing a task to hide myself. Then I saw Kushina closed her eyes and sensed it, and still jumped out of the window to find it accurately. Kakashi brought it back again. On the 4th and 5th days after that, Kakashi resisted many times to no avail. In the end, he had to knock on the door and enter the house by himself as soon as it was time for dinner. As for face and so on, what kind of face do you need when you wear a mask? On the contrary, when you see mistress's red hair, she can't help but want to give her a face, speaking of which, mistress's cooking is quite delicious. Kakashi thought resignedly. Of course, this was done by Minato instructed Kushina. Minato felt that letting Kakashi stay in Anbu would only fuel the darkness in Kakashi's heart. Probably only a carefree Lottie character like Obito could infect Kakashi a little bit. Kakashi, this point is very suitable for Kushina, and another child named Matekai seems to be very suitable. In short, let's start by asking Kakashi to come to the house for dinner every day. Sometimes Kushina also goes out. It is said that he went to the barrier class to help improve the Konoha barrier or something, and he would ask Sarabi Biwako or Tianji to take care of Naruto. Naruto understands this point. When it comes to things like enchantments and seals, Kushina is basically the strongest in Konoha, whether it is the ninjutsu doctor Sarutobi Hizen, who claims to be proficient in all of Konoha's ninjutsu, or he is angry. Shimura Danzo, who sealed half of the bridge, had to step aside. Naruto has no dissatisfaction with his current life. After all, he was just a salted fish in his last life. He just wanted to have an ordinary job after graduation and just live an ordinary life. Now that I'm a baby, I don't worry about eating or drinking, but I get bored occasionally. For a month, Naruto also consciously tried to see if he could meet the Nine Tails, but he never succeeded. Maybe the seal was too strong. Now Naruto's only wish is to grow up quickly and become stronger. He really lacks a sense of security in this world. The calm days passed by like this, and the atmosphere at home was warm and beautiful every day. Even Kakashi, who had always been cool, had changed a little bit without knowing it. At least he would occasionally take the initiative to say a few words at the dinner table. Sometimes he would look curiously at Naruto in the swaddling clothes and pinch Naruto's face. Minato was very pleased to see Kakashi's changes, while Naruto watched Kakashi's changes, just wanted to give him a face. Dare to pinch lightly. Heavier than my mother's hand. Naruto thought angrily, I don't know if it was an illusion. When Naruto opened his eyes wide and wanted to stare at Kakashi, he seemed to see Kakashi smiling faintly. In the blink of an eye, it was another day, and Naruto was lying in the stroller board, waiting for the adults to pinch him in the face after eating, but the atmosphere at the dinner table today didn't seem right. Minato put the bowl on the table and said, the situation in the village is not very good recently, and there is more and more friction between the border and the Land of Thunder and the Land of Wind. Kushina also stopped and asked, why? Nine-tailed rampage is such a big riot can't be hidden. After the Land of Wind and the Land of Thunder, they will naturally want to test it, and then infer the size of Konoha's loss from Konoha's attitude. Minato's tone gradually changed. He was heavy and said, the Kingdom of Wind is fine. The last war lost a lot, and now it should be powerless to provoke a war. But with the style of the Kingdom of Thunder, I can't say for sure. The Kingdom of Thunder. Kushina didn't like the Kingdom of Thunder at all. After all, it was the people from the Kingdom of Thunder who kidnapped her when she was a child. If it wasn't for the Watergate hero saving Mei at a critical moment, I don't know what would happen to her. Naruto, who was eavesdropping next to him, didn't like the Kingdom of Thunder either. When watching anime in his previous life, he always felt that the author was alluding to a certain country, black and white people living together, advocating force, unreasonable, with black technology like chakra cannons. See if you have any bloodstains or secret techniques, you have to find a way to grab it, like a certain eagle sauce who did not want to be named. Kakashi, who had been silent all this time, said, Matsumoto-sensei, let me go. Minato reached out and rubbed Kakashi's hair, and said, don't worry, the village has already decided to send Senior Orochimaru to the border, and everything will be fine. Let's eat first. Yet. Kushina and Kakashi responded, feeling a little relieved. And Naruto was stunned when he heard the name of Orochimaru. Has Uncle Snake defected at this time? Thinking about the original novel, Orochimaru's defection occurred after the death of the fourth generation. During the third generation's return to power, the third generation personally led a team to copy the research institute of Orochimaru and severely injured Orochimaru, but finally let him go. What Naruto didn't understand was that since he let him go, why did he send Kakashi, who was Anbu at the time, to pursue him? Afterwards, Kakashi was intercepted by a teenager who was sent by Danzang, who knew how to use Myudun. Could it be that the three generations and Danzang acted together? After that, I don't know the exact time, and Jiraiya also tried to persuade Orochimaru back halfway, but Orochimaru said that I would not listen and I would not listen, and severely injured Jiraiya, but Orochimaru was also soft-hearted and did not kill Jiraiya. And also, alas, Naruto sighed in his heart, Konoha and the others are doing something to grind, and from time to time, they also make some unintelligible tricks, that is, the foundation laid by the first and second generations for Konoha is too good. Every time the Ninja World War is a fight several times have not collapsed. I hope that my father can get rid of the influence of Konoha F4 and be a good Hokage who is wise and martial. This time, Orochimaru was asked to go to the border. It seems that he came from outside the village. He clearly visited Kushina when she was pregnant, and by the way, he also talked with Minato about Naruto's name. It seems that now Jiraiya is either on a mission or traveling abroad. Of course, with his integrity, he may also be attacking a widow village at night. After a while of silence at the dinner table, Minato raised the topic and said, "By the way, Kushina, I'm going to visit Big Brother Fuyu's family in a few days, and let's go with Naruto." "Okay, I just want to chat with Mikoto, and I haven't had a good look at Sasuke yet," Kushina said happily. "Sasuke, I should be classmates with Naruto in the future," Minato recalled, remembering that Sasuke was also born this year. "Yes, the first time I saw Sasuke, I thought it was a girl, that child is really cute." Kushina laughed out loud. "Ha ha ha." Minato also laughed. "Uchiha." Kakashi kept his left eye silent, thinking of his dead friend. "Let's go to the memorial monument in a few days." The next day, a rare family of three went out together. Today's Minato is wearing a Konoha ninja uniform with a royal robe over it. He is so handsome, especially when he puts on the royal robe, he is so handsome that he explodes. In Naruto's impression, there are two most handsome scenes of Minato in the anime. One is when he just put on the royal robe and said with his back to the camera, "I'll be right back." The other is a spiral pill that pressed Obito to the ground. And said, "This is the second section of Flying Thor." It's not surprising that there are few shots but many fans, this is a face-seeing world. The streets of Konoha have long returned to the bustling streets of the past. The recent small friction on the border of the Land of Fire has not had any impact on the civilians. Along the way, both pedestrians and street vendors greeted the family of three excitedly. They were quite prestigious, and Minato and Kushina responded with a smile. It wasn't until Naruto was drowsy that he finally arrived at the Uchiha clan. Naruto observed it. Except for the ping-pong racket pattern on his body, the civilians in the clan seemed to be no different from other villagers, even if they were patrolling. When the guards in Zhongshan saw the Watergate family, they also stopped to say hello in a proper manner, without showing any arrogance. Naruto shook his head, wondering why the anime developed to the point of planning a coup d'état. After walking around, he finally arrived at the door of Sasuke's house. Itachi, who was sweeping the floor, hurriedly said, "Hello, Lord Fourth Generation, Auntie Kushina." After speaking, he glanced at Naruto curiously and then looked away. Naruto said, "I have reason to suspect that this guy is thinking cute without Sasuke or something. It's Itachi, is Big Brother Fuyu at home?" Minato smiled and touched Itachi's head. "Yes, please come with me." Itachi put down his broom and led the Minato family through the gate. When he entered the living room, Naruto was still stunned. It was too big. He had just passed a large yard and turned a corner and walked through a long corridor. Naruto also caught a glimpse of a single training with a target hanging on it. The field is worthy of being the house of the patriarch of Konoha's largest clan. This area is too large, and his family is only a three-story building, which is really far from this kind of wealthy family. After arriving in the living room for some courtesy, Kushina carried Naruto and followed Uchiha Mikoto to the bedroom to see Sasuke. Itaki also followed, leaving only Minato and Fuyu to talk alone in the living room. According to Naruto's observation, Uchiha Fuyu can only be said to have straight facial features and a serious national character face. At first Naruto wondered how he gave birth to two such handsome sons, and then glanced at Uchiha Mikoto. Obviously, these two children should be the mother-in-law. The architecture and decoration style of Sasuke's house is basically Japanese style. At this time, Sasuke, who is less than 1 year old, already has his own room. There are all kinds of small toys on the ground. The most beautiful thing is that in addition to the family emblem of Uchiha, there is also a calligraphy work on the wall, which reads Kishimoto Kishi. Little Sasuke was lying on the bed at this time, not knowing if he was woken up by the sound of the door opening. He opened his eyes wide and tried to turn over. Ah, so cute! Kushina had already run over to Sasuke in 3 or 2 steps, put Naruto next to Sasuke, and then reached out and touched Sasuke's head. Mikoto said with a smile, Naruto is also very cute. He has golden hair and blue eyes, exactly like the 4th generation. Yes, although Naruto used the King Kong blockade when he was born, it stands to reason that he should have perfectly inherited the talent of the Maelstrom family from his mother, but his hair color and pupil color still follow the father's Wavewind and Water Gate, and he did not show it. With the red hair of the Whirlpool family, it can only be said that Minato's genes are so terrifying. Little Sasuke, this is my Naruto, and I want to be a good friend in the future. Naruto too, get along well with Sasuke. Sasuke has noticed the little yellow hair beside him. I don't know if he recognized this half-brother. He was about to turn over and press Naruto. Naruto tried to reach out and push him away while thinking in his heart. Indicates MMP, I have written down this hatred, you wait for the second pillar in the future. The two adults laughed and exchanged parenting experiences while watching the children fighting beside the bed. Of course, it was mainly Kushina who was asking and Mikoto talking. Among them, there is no lack of the dark history of the two brothers of the Uchiha family. For example, there is a girl named Izumi Uchiha in the clan who has always been very fond of Itaki, but when she hugged Sasuke, Sasuke cried, and when Itaki took over Sasuke, Sasuke laughed immediately. Is Sasuke so attached to brother? They have a good relationship with each other. Yeah, but I'm worried that this child will affect Itaki's girlfriend. Ha 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 ha, that's how it is. The two unscrupulous elders glanced at each other, then looked at Itaki in unison, showing their aunt's smile in unison. Itaki, who was comparing the two children carefully and came to the conclusion that, as expected, his younger brother is cuter, suddenly found himself lying on the gun for no reason. Although he blushed a little from the playful eyes of his elders, he still insisted on staying to take care of his younger brother. The adults were talking and laughing, the children were playing around, and when Naruto woke up, he was already on his way home. Seeing the expression on Minato's face, it seems that he and Fuyu had a smooth talk. Naruto thought to himself, maybe with his own father here, Uchiha wouldn't fall out with Konoha, and Itaki wouldn't have to kill his entire family in a fit of rage. I just don't know what my father and Sasuke's father talked about. If Uchiha can be perfectly integrated into Konoha in the future, will today's talk be called the Double 11 talk in the future? Then, in order to commemorate this day, the villagers of Konoha made a celebration, discounted goods, or something. Mieti is very beautiful. 3 years passed in a hurry, and the border friction between the Kingdom of Thunder and the Kingdom of Fire gradually subsided, and in the end, it did not turn into a war, and there was even a faint intention to form an alliance. As for Sandian Village, the Land of Wind, that is a younger brother, who has already formed an alliance, so he can't be cowardly. The reason may be that the power of one tail is too small, and it is not perfect. If there is a problem with my Big Ivan, the confidence will be insufficient. The person of Cheyenne Village's generation is Gaara, who is the same age as Naruto. When he is emotional, shower he will go berserk. After a series of actions by his father Luasha, Gaara's emotions become more and more intense. Unstable, the human brain circuits in this world have always been strange. The biggest incident in the past 3 years is that Lengjun Orochimaru, one of the 3 ninjas, disappeared, and his disciple Hungdo was planted with a curse. After investigation, Anbu discovered equipment for human experimentation in Orochimaru's secret laboratory. Dozens of children were soaked in jars filled with nutrient solution, but only one survived. Since then, Orochimaru has been designated as a traitor, and the danger level is S. The surviving child was finally adopted by the 3 generations of Hokage. During the period, I don't know what happened, Danzo's elder position was dismissed, and Sarutobi Hizen officially retired to take care of the children at home. And Jirei was also severely injured when he intercepted Orochimaru. After recovering from the injury, he immediately set off to continue his journey. As for whether the purpose is to find the Son of Destiny, or to obtain materials, or to find Orochimaru, no one knows. In contrast, the head of the Hyuga clan, on December 27, 1948 Konoha, got a girl, not to mention the headlines, and even the hot search may not be able to squeeze in. The turmoil gradually subsided, the village returned to calm, and the reputation of the 4 generations of Hokage continued to increase. Kakashi's generation of ninjas were already 17 or 18 years old, and they could almost be on their own. Whether they were ninjas or civilians, they firmly believed that under the leadership of the 4th generation of Ghouls, the village will get better and better. At this time, the home of the 4th Hokage waved Feng Minato. Watergate waved his hand, and a banner unfolded and hung on the wall. Kushina waved his hand, and the streamers flew from Naruto's head. Kakashi brought out the birthday cake. Happy 3rd birthday Naruto! *3. Hee hee, thank you. Naruto smiled and closed his eyes to make a wish, and then blew out the candle. Kushina then grabbed Naruto's shoulders and asked with a smile, "Tell Mom, what is Naruto's wish? Maybe it will come true right away." Naruto showed a naive smile, "I hope my mother will give me a brother." "What? It turns out that it's just to have a brother, wrapped in me, eh?" In the end, Minato broke the silence. "Why does Naruto want a brother?" "Because of my brother, I'll be as gentle as big brother Itachi, and I'll be so like Kakashi." Kakashi rolled the eyes of the dead fish. "Hee hee, I'm really sorry for being so sloppy like me. If it was my younger brother, I would be as stupid as Sasuke." Naruto showed a look of disgust. Minato smiled dryly and asked, "Don't you two have a good relationship?" "Because of a good relationship, I understand enough, so I dislike it." Naruto said it for granted. Until the end of the birthday party, Naruto still failed to receive the gift named Big Brother, but received several other surprises. Kakashi sent a picture book, saying that it was brought back when he went to the snow country to perform a mission. Naruto opened it excitedly, only to find that it was just an ordinary picture book. He thought it was some kind of wonderful manga. Thinking about it too, if Kakashi dared to send something strange, he might have to go out sideways today. Kushina gave Naruto a small imperial robe, the same style for the 4th generation, the difference is that the word written on the back is Naruto's name. Last, Minato's gift is a special version of Kuna Ifleeing Thor. It has 2 more forks than ordinary kunao, and the handle is painted with the Flying Thunder God technique, and it feels heavy to hold. Naruto put on the royal robe on the spot, picked up the special kunao, shook the hem of his clothes excitedly, and felt that he was handsome. The distance between Sagia and the 4th Hokage was only a forehead guard. Suddenly, I wanted to hit the 2nd grade. Naruto jumped back a small step and held the kunao in front of him. Well, he used his hands. This thing is a little heavier than the ordinary kunao, which is a bit awkward for a 3-year-old child. Good to take, 4th Hokage, I want to challenge you. Haha, okay, I'll accept your challenge. Minato smiled and took Naruto under his arm and took him to a relatively spacious living room. Kushina raised her hand happily and said, I'll be the referee. Minato put down Naruto and said, before we start, let me explain the rules of pair training. Before the duel practice begins, you must first bind the seal of opposition, which symbolizes the next battle. Minato raised his index and middle fingers with one hand and placed them in front of his chest. Naruto has a similar pattern. After the pair training is over, we must make a seal of reconciliation, symbolizing that we are partners. He said, bending his index and middle fingers, hooking Naruto's fingers. Oh, I remembered it. Naruto put down Kyowu, this thing is just a burden if it doesn't work. Okay. Then, the rule this time is that as long as Naruto's attack hits, he wins. Kushina stretched out his hand to signal the two to separate, and then shouted, start. The two sides formed the seal of opposition, and then, they didn't move. Minato felt that bullying his son couldn't be too harsh, so let him. Naruto is. I don't know what to do. I've watched so many episodes of Hokage, but we haven't fought, and I haven't practiced any taijutsu ninjutsu before. Before getting this kunao, the family members don't let touch ninja tools. Minato and Kushina seem to think that starting the practice too early is not good for future development, so when Naruto shouted to learn ninjutsu, Kushina taught him to read. Naruto secretly begged Kakashi, but Kakashi refused, and he should have been handed over to him. So Naruto is worried now, what is this move? Suddenly, Naruto has a flash of inspiration. The black tiger digs its heart. The cat fell to the ground. Scorpion palm. Cat turn around. Elephant kicks. Crows take a plane. This is Naruto's perspective and other people's perspectives. Naruto pounced on Minato. Minato grabbed Naruto's back collar, and gently threw it aside. Naruto barely stood on all fours. Stand up and hit Minato's leg with a palm. Naruto's current height is probably about the level of jumping up and hitting your knee. Minato grabbed Naruto's wrist and gently moved to the side. Naruto lost his center of gravity and almost fell. After standing up, he turned around and kicked, and Minato backed away to dodge. Naruto opened his arms, jumped up and slammed into the water gate. Minato grabbed Naruto with one hand, and then tapped a hand knife on Naruto's head. Minato said with a smile, Dad won. Oh. Naruto wasn't too disappointed, and even thought about whether he wanted to meet someone in the future and said, I fought against the 4th Hokage, and I got out of it. Well, I'm definitely not alluding to the corners. At the end of the game, the two sides will seal the sign of reconciliation. Kushina announced the end of the father-son match. The family of three was in high spirits, only Kakashi's eyes twitched as he listened to Naruto's name for the move. This talent for naming, should it be said that he is the teacher's child? Naruto obediently tied the seal, and took the opportunity to make another request, Dad, I want to practice. Sure. Aha. Really? Naruto was overjoyed, the 3-year-old Ningsaru had already beaten his fists well, and he could finally start practicing. Let's start with physical training first, it will be very hard, can Naruto hold on? Absolutely no problem. Naruto vowed, in order to become stronger, can a little hard work stump me? I'm so tired, I want to rest. The next day, after completing a few laps around his yard, and doing 30 push-ups, Naruto lay on the ground like a dead dog. I'm only 3 years old, do I really need to hurry up to practice body arts, or go to school in an ordinary way, and then wait for the old man Ryudeo to send me off? Naruto felt that he overestimated his willpower and self-discipline as a salted fish. In my last life, I made countless plans for myself, including skipping rope, running, and push-ups, but none of them could last for more than 3 days. Fortunately, however, if you want to be lazy in this life, your own mother will urge you. Unfortunately, his own mother's name is Kushina. Today's Kushina has changed from her past gentleness and concern for Naruto, and has become very strict. Get up, there are punch training and kick training next. Kushina waved his fists twice. Naruto felt a dull pain on the top of his head, and for a while he even thought of Garp's iron fist of love for Luffy. Naruto had to get up and punch the sandbag. Kushina explained how to exert force and correct the movements. The scene was very harmonious, like a parent supervising their children's homework. Come on Naruto, it's almost done. Naruto gritted his teeth, sweat dripped down his hair, endured the pain in his arms and thighs, punched and kicked. When the last kick came out, Naruto felt that his whole person was sublimated. It turns out that I can endure hardship so much. After this relaxation, it seems that the small arms and calves are not his own, and he doesn't want to move when he sits on the ground. Kushina hurried over to help Naruto do the stretching and massage after exercise. Some sadly said, Naruto, don't blame your mother for being cruel. You will become an excellent ninja in the future. The current practice is like a ninja performing a mission. You can't easily give up halfway when you start. I know, I also want to become stronger, at least strong enough to protect myself and my family. Of course Naruto could understand Kushina's painstaking efforts. Human beings, if you don't force yourself, you don't know where your limits are. If you can't be ruthless, you have to have someone beside you with a whip to help you. This world is so dangerous, if you don't work hard, you will really die, and Naruto is not sure if there is any Ashura chakra in his body. Therefore, it is up to you to become stronger. As for whether it is a matter of 4 generations of husband and wife being a son or not after crossing over by himself, of course, if he asks this question, Naruto can imagine the consequences. Kushina definitely hangs up Naruto and beats him, scolding while beating, my mother has worked so hard to get pregnant for 10 months, and she will pull you up with feces and urine. Do you think it is your own son? Minato might be at the side to persuade him to calm down and calm down. My own, what should I do if I break it? When I invite Tsunade-senpai back, I will ask her to give instructions on how to fight. The morning passed like that. Naruto dragged his exhausted body back home to take a bath, waited for Minato to come back for lunch, and then fell into a drowsy sleep. After sleeping for 2 hours, Naruto got up and moved his sore. Hey? Why aren't your arms sore? Naruto jumped off the bed and found that his waist was no longer sore, his legs were no longer sore, and he was able to walk with strength. Is it so miraculous? After training in the morning until I was exhausted, and in the afternoon, I would be able to jump up and down in the afternoon. Naruto had a preliminary understanding of his own resilience. Does this mean that if I don't practice, I will practice to death? However, there was no training plan in the afternoon, because Kushina went to work and told Naruto not to practice more. He was too young to exercise too much and could easily get injured. Kushina is different from Uchiha Mikoto. Mikoto can be a full-time wife at home with peace of mind when there is no war. However, Kushina is a human pillar and must maintain a certain combat effectiveness, so in addition to going to work every day, occasionally go out to perform tasks. After all, Naruto is now 3 years old and does not need too much care. Even Kakashi is no longer responsible for protecting Naruto. Instead, he often accepts various difficult tasks, and has already played the name of Konoha technician. Head. Kushina said that she couldn't train, and Naruto felt that he should listen to his mother's words to prevent her from getting hurt. So do you read books? I didn't know enough words, I couldn't even read a copy of The Legend of Perseverance and Endurance, and I had nothing to do at home, so Naruto decided to go out for a walk. Walking through the streets and seeing the shops, I felt that Konoha was similar to a small county town. The passers-by were quite enthusiastic about Naruto. After all, he was the son of a hero. In fact, some people originally called Naruto Master Naruto, but they were all seriously corrected by Minato and Kushina. Naruto felt that it didn't matter, anyway, he didn't intend to run rampant and domineering because he was the stupid son of the village chief. Naruto just wandered aimlessly, and unknowingly walked to the ninja school. But of course there is nothing strange about the school. The main reason is that when he saw an acquaintance at the door, Naruto smiled and said hello, 3 generations of grandfathers. In my heart, I was curious. Although the eldest son of the 3rd generation was busy with tasks and the second son ran away from home, his wife was still alive, so why was he here when he was not at home with his wife? Could it be that after retirement, I can't use a crystal ball to peep into the women's bathroom, and I'm so lonely that I ran to the school to be a concierge? Sandai retracted his legs that had already entered the school, and replied with a smile, "It's Naruto, are you coming out to play by yourself?" Well, why is the 3rd generation grandfather here? Although he knew that Anbu must be with him, after all, they were half-persons, but they couldn't show their heads, so there was nothing wrong with coming out to play by themselves. Haha, Grandpa will teach the children a lesson later. Lecture. Yes, does Naruto know the will of fire? Without waiting for Naruto to answer, the 3rd generation continued to ruin Naruto's head and continued, where the leaves are flying, the fire will continue to grow. The fire will continue to illuminate the village and make new leaves sprout. Naruto thought to himself, I'm familiar with this passage. But did not speak. Haha, these are too early for you, do you want to go in and have a look? Okay. Naruto nodded, having never been to the ninja school. Naruto followed into the school with great interest, and the 3 generations taught Naruto science while walking. The ninja school was established by the 2nd generation of adults. Since its establishment, it has cultivated a lot of talents for Konoha. Barabala. The 2nd generation is called Senju Tobirama. He is my teacher. He is the younger brother of the 1st generation Senju Hajime. He has developed a lot of ninjutsu. Yes, it was called the first speed in the ninja world at that time. Speaking of which, your father and mother met at the ninja school. Kushina was once kidnapped by enemy ninjas. It was Minato who rescued her. Later. The old man is like this. As long as there is an audience, he can talk non-stop. Sometimes he doesn't care if you give a response or not, or even if you are really listening, as long as you are there. Naruto suddenly felt a little distressed for this old man. Although in his previous life he often scolded him with others, saying that he was greedy for power, Minato was just a puppet Hokage, and Danzo was indulged by him, but at this time he was just an ordinary empty-nest old man. That's it. Naruto listened to the 3 generations talking about the history of the ninja school, the glorious deeds of Hokage in the past, and the gossip of his parents. The old man seemed to be satisfied. Maybe it was time for class, so he let Naruto play by himself. In this way, I completed physical exercises every morning, ran around the village in the afternoon, and lived a peaceful and quiet life. 2 months passed quickly. Konoha has entered winter in December. Different from the so-called damp and cold with magic damage in Gyeongchang's winter, Konoha's winter is more like dry and cold with physical damage in the north, and you need to add a little more clothes every day when you go out. The mission of Union Village, the Land of Thunder, has been staying in Konoha for several days, and the negotiations on the alliance between the 2 countries have come to an end. Konoha decided to hold a ceremony on December 27 to celebrate the alliance between the 2 countries. That day happened to be the 3rd birthday of Hinata, the eldest lady of the Hinata family. Konoha's people seem to attach great importance to their children's 3rd birthday, as if they are qualified to be called an independent person after they reach the age of 3. The previous Naruto's 3rd birthday was more grand than the previous 2, and the Hyuga family paid more attention to it. Every day, the Xiang family has to go to Hinata's 3rd birthday celebration, even ignoring the festivals in the village. Because that day, Hinata was to be established as the first daughter of the sect family, and Niji, who was a branch family, was to be caged. From then on, Niji will live to protect the eldest daughter of the sect family. The caged bird is a bit like an enhanced version of the confinement spell. One effect is that the sect family can make the branch family members who are engraved with the caged bird spell print have a splitting headache, and can even directly destroy the brain nerves to kill the branch family. The second is the ability to seal the white eye, which destroys the eyeball and brain when the subject dies or has both eyes removed, preventing the white eye from flowing out. And at this time, Niji seems to be enjoying it. This child seems to be a sister-in-law. Reading www.yukanshu.com does not reject the protection of his cousin at all, and is even happy. This is the case in the original book. It was not until the death of Niji's father, Hyaka, that Niji hated the system of the clan and the family, and hated the caged bird. And Nippon Hyaka himself even willingly died for Hizu in order to get rid of the caged bird, claiming that it was his own decision and that he had rebelled against the so-called fate. But if you think about it pessimistically, in fact, there is a nursery rhyme of the same name for the word caged bird in the Futpen Chicken, to the effect that someone will replace the caged bird and become a scapegoat at the last moment. This is a bit ironic. The way Rippa mustered up his courage to resist is to become a surrogate for Sun Fut, but it just caters to the meaning of a caged bird. Everyone has their own ideas. The villagers of Konoha participated in the alliance ceremony with joy, including Naruto, who also went shopping and eating accompanied by Kushina. The people of the Rixiang family solemnly attended the third-year-old ceremony of the eldest Zone family, and I don't know how many people feel the same injustice for the fate of their children like Rise. However, the ninjas of Union Village are planning to do things with ill-conceived intentions. The next day, a piece of news spread quietly in Konoha's shock. The kidnapping of the daughter of the chairman of the Hyuga group, the leader of Union's messenger, even kidnapped the eldest miss of the Hixiang family, and was found by the patriarch Hixiang Hizu and shot to death on the spot. However, the Union messenger group slapped the rake, falsely accusing Lai Ri Xiangjia of murdering for no reason, and asked Konoha to hand over the murderer. Residents talked a lot, some sympathized with Hinata's experience, some scolded Union Ninja for being shameless, and some worried that it would lead to conflict. If this matter is not handled properly, it may turn Konoha and Union, who have just formed an alliance, against each other. So Minato immediately went to Hyuga's house, intending to learn more about what happened and negotiate a solution.